have our special guest, Niecy Nash,
Yes!
is up in here. And of course, when we walk in, the first thing we want to talk about is beauty, nails,
Yes.
hair, all of that.
Well, just because the last time I saw Niecy, we were getting nails done next to each other.
Where?
Well,
what, in the
do
Valley?
Do you know an actor named Gary Anthony Williams?
Oh, yes.
He
does the voice, the beautiful voice. He
Yes.
does all the voiceover for TV One and
Unsung
and
A
all
Football
that.
Life, I think, too.
Yeah, he's got a beautiful voice.
Good friend of mine, and we worked together on The Soul Man together. But anyway, every time he sees me, every single time, he goes, Niecy Nash, equal parts beauty, booty, and cash. So, let's talk about all of that.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about all of that. First of all, I would just want to mention the book. The book is called You Can't Fight Naked.
It's hard to fight naked.
It's hard to fight naked, and
Yes.
that's available everywhere.
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon right now, download it to your Kindle, and have a good holiday.
And all of your philosophies, all of your beauty secrets, all of your life lessons are in the book.
Uh-huh.
I love it. So let's talk about all that. So first of all, how many trophies have you snatched from different organizations? The Critics' Choice, the
People's
Emmys,
Choice, the Globes,
How many Emmys have you won?
Well, you know what? I actually have taken home one statue, and that's an Emmy, and that was for actually producing my home makeover show, Clean House, which ran for 9 seasons.
Yeah.
But I've been nominated several times.
Many
I'm the
times.
Susan Lucci of nominations. Huh? Come on. I'm the brown Susan Lucci. I've been nominated a few times.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, the first time I was nominated for an Emmy for acting was for a TV show that I was doing on HBO called Getting On.
Yes.
Where I play a nurse who was taking care of the elderly, and I wasn't campaigning. I didn't have a publicist. I just went to get a cup of coffee and came back. And somebody said, congratulations, Miss Niecy. It was a PA. I said, on what, honey? And he said, I don't know. Somebody said on a walkie you won something. I thought it was a raffle. I said, oh, what did I win?
Did I get a basket?
I don't know anything. So then the producers of our show said, and ladies and gentlemen, Niecy Nash has been nominated for it. I said, what? I started crying like a damn baby.
Oh.
So I said, Lord have mercy, it's a fluke. When they realize that I slipped in this category, I hope they don't rescind my nomination. So when I got nominated for that role a second year, I said, oh, y'all meant to do that.
Oh, wow.
It was intentional.
Wow.
So it was more emotional the second time because it was so affirming that my peers said, we see you.
Wow.
Because I was just had my head down and was doing the work. And
Yeah.
I looked up and was like, wait, what happened?
Yeah. But you've been in the game for a long time, and you've been
A long
successful
time.
for a long time.
We got to talk about Reno 911.
But yeah, we'll talk
Yeah.
about Reno. But what do you think? What do you attribute your success in this business? Because you well know.
Do y'all hear my phone?
Is that
She
your
got
agent?
called,
She
she
got
got
a
called,
job.
she got a
She's
job.
got a job.
No,
Another nomination.
Turn that,
Is it a
turn that
nomination?
ringer off. You know what? I'm a mother of 3, so my phone is always on. I have to
Yeah.
really make a conscious decision because I'm always checking on a baby, putting somebody on punishment on the phone. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
another story. Okay, so what do I attribute what to?
Your success and your longevity in this business, because you well know it is not easy. People look at this business and think, oh, she's on this. Oh, she's doing that. They don't understand the hustle that is involved to sustain that.
Well, when I tell you, and this is my God honest answer, when I started in this business, I started with 3 jobs when I first came in. And I've had at least 3 to 3.5 jobs consistently all the way through. You can find me on multiple channels at the same time. And when people say, I want to do that, tell me what that is so I can get that. My simple answer that people don't often like is give.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you give, the universe responds in kind. When I show up to do a job, I don't show up because I think, oh, I booked this job and, I'm so great. Look at me. I booked this job. I say the work that I'm going to do as an actor, that's my due. But my who is to show up and be of service. So I feel like when God knows he can trust you to go somewhere and he can use you when you get there, he going to send you everywhere. So give. That's
Of yourself.
yes. Do it.
Well, that's interesting because when I saw you in New York a few months ago, I asked you about your ability to give so much on camera? And at what point in your process did you learn how to just be so uninhibited and to give so much of yourself? We could feel you, even in a look, even on Reno, just one look spoke volumes about what's going on in your inner dialogue. How did you learn how to do that?
You know what's funny? Because when I started off in the business, I did not have a lot of resources, financial resources.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not have anyone who could say, come over here, let me show you what to do. So in the early days,
Mm-hmm.
Mother would cut that TV on
Mm-hmm.
to people who I thought had some sort of an it factor.
Mm-hmm.
And I would study that performance, and then I would go stand in the mirror,
Mm-hmm.
and I would try to give it back.
Yeah.
Let me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I couldn't afford to go to class.
Mhm.
I didn't have it. I just didn't have it.
Right.
So,
And who were you emulating on TV?
Who did it for you?
You know what? I have to tell, when I was little,
Mm.
Cicely Tyson.
Oh,
Ooh.
I
this
was
day.
drunken in
Wow.
love. But I decided to become an actor at 5 when I saw the most gorgeous black woman I had ever seen in my 5 years of living. I had seen black people on TV, but I didn't see one that looked like this, baby. She sashayed across the stage, had on a long red gown. Her eyelashes looked like butterflies. I looked at my grandmother. I said, who is that? And that's when my grandmama had the cigarette on the filter, so it was
Yeah.
extra long.
Yeah.
She said, baby, that's Lola Falana. And I said, it was like God stamped on the canvas of my imagination, my destiny. I said, Grandma, that's what I want to be. I want to be black and fabulous and on TV.
Aw.
And I stopped answering to my name at 5. If I go
What do
to
you mean?
If I go to St. Louis right now and
Uh-huh.
walk to my grandmama's house, she would go, "Oh, look at her! Get on in here, Lola," because I'm like, "Don't call me Niecy."
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
And from that moment on, every year, you know, like Halloween, your mother would buy you back then.
Yeah.
Buy you the plastic little costume
Uh-huh.
you step into,
Yeah.
and then it's a little mask with a band that straps around the back of
And
your
then
head,
they just tie it around your
and
neck.
you just put and you hit it. Every year I would cry, and my mother would without failure. What do you want to be then? And I would go, a lady.
I think Ru said the same thing every year.
Hello, sister. That's all I wanted to be.
I want to be
a lady.
Oh my goodness.
And my
Oh,
grandmother used to tell me all the time, fix yourself up. A little bit of hair and a little bit of paint makes a woman what she ain't. A lady.
Well, you know, because your mother is a lady. She's dolled up. When was it? Did she introduce you to full cover foundation and
All of
lashes?
it. My
All of
mother,
it.
my mother would get up, hand to God. 6 o'clock in the morning, you walk in there stumbling around trying to find your toothbrush and get a piece of toast. My mother's cooking breakfast in full drag, full
Oh, my
beat.
God.
And I'm like, Mama, where you going? Nowhere.
Uh-huh. Wow.
But listen.
Yeah.
And so even so much so, listen, when I had my first child, I went to the hospital at 3 o'clock in the morning. So it was late. 32 hours later, I finally feel something percolating.
Uh-huh.
I get up, I look up, and I go, oh, shoot, something about to happen.
Uh-huh.
And I look across the room, and I see a mirror. I said, is that my ugly face? Where's my makeup bag? I crossed my legs. I said, there shall not be a baby born before I get this face beat. And so my mother was trying to help me put my braids up and put my makeup on, and the eyeliner rolled under the bed. I started crying. She started screaming at my ex-husband, get it! Get the eyeliner! Honey, I had to put that whole mug on. And I said, that's what's wrong with children. You stick them in this lady face and she looking like a train wreck. Get yourself together. Give your kids a fighting chance.
Yeah, no wonder they start crying.
Right.
You
So-
know?
Because they see your ugly ass when they come out.
Yeah.
So I had to pull up.
Now, because in Getting On, the show you've been nominated twice
I
for
pulled
an
down.
Emmy. Yeah, you're not wearing them because that's at the
OMG.
high definition television where they can see everything.
All of your flaws.
Yeah.
I said, listen, HBO, I said, I thought this was a blessing until they said no glamorous hair, no makeup, and then had the nerve to follow that up with and no spank. I said, say what now?
Goodness. Oh my
They said, we going to let the good times roll. I said, wait a minute. Wait a minute, HBO. But yes, and I was so nervous because as actors, we're trained. As soon as you book a job, you say, who's on hair and makeup?
Uh-huh.
Right.
When you come to the lot the day you coming into work, you go straight into hair and makeup and wait
Sure.
for your process.
Yes.
So to come to work, I did my own hair. I just will pull it up in that knot and just wrap a rag around it to play Nurse Dee Dee. You just slide past the makeup trailer. They just look at you and make sure you're not shiny, and you just walk on in. And sometimes they don't care if you're shiny. I could not believe. I was so insecure at first. And I remember Alex Borstein, one of the actors on the show, said, we're going to be on the cover of a magazine, and the caption is going to read, "These brave women."
Oh my God.
Because we are letting it, and then they put us underneath the worst lighting God has ever
Right.
created.
Is
Overhead
lighting?
And I was like, we just look like some old hags.
Oh, my
And it's so
goodness.
funny because I had more people tell me, like I was doing the Soul Man at the same time and something else. I think Mindy Project. I was doing something else at the same time. But anyway, as dolled up as I could get on the Soul Man, more people walk up to me on the street and said, "My God, you're beautiful as
Wow.
Dee Dee." And I'm like, what?
It's a relatability thing, I think. I do. People are going to relate to you more when you look like them because the average person doesn't look the way that we like to walk around looking like,
Yeah. I'll go,
glamorous drag queen. It's just the way that, and I think the average, because I feel the same thing when people see you scaled down, they tend to go, "Oh my God, I've never seen you so beautiful." And you feel like a hot, disgusting mess.
Right.
It's
Right.
bizarre.
That
but
is
it's
so.
relatability.
No mascara, nothing on Getting On, nothing,
Or minimal.
nothing.
They didn't do anything for it. I mean, I remember I did one episode where I had to be sweaty. So it was like the air conditioner broke in the hospital.
Yeah.
So, they put the glycerin all over you
Right.
and make you look, a hot,
Yeah.
sweaty mess. Or
Just ate a pork
if you
chop.
have an injury, they have to put the blood on
Sure.
you for
Yeah.
that. But in our day-to-day, you maybe got like some little translucent powder if you look too shiny for whatever you're trying to do. Or,
Yeah.
but it was very minimum. It wasn't anything like what we like.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, most people know Alex Borstein as Miss Swan from Mad TV.
Uh-huh. And
was-
she's also a voice on the
Oh,
Family
yeah,
Guy.
Family Guy. Yeah,
Yeah, the
she's
mom.
Lois.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great voice.
Now, okay, so now when, whenever I've done movies and had to go to them in drag and had to go to the makeup department, they didn't know what to do. Now, when you do films and television, do you do your own or do you bring your people onto the show with you?
Well, it depends on what it is. I do what I can. Now, here's my phobia.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't like people touching my face who I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I got to get real comfortable with you. And I love, like, my key makeup artist, her name is Naima Jamal, but when she even does my makeup, she doesn't, I don't know if probably you've had this happen. Like, say someone is going to do your eyes and they rest the bottom of their hand on your cheek. She doesn't even do that. She puts a puff on that pinky
Right.
and lets that puff touch her face.
Sure.
She doesn't even touch my face because I just don't like it.
Yeah.
But a lot of times when people don't know that, they might feel like you're micromanaging them. Like,
Right.
oh, could you use that? Could you not
Yeah.
touch my face? So I don't like to do that to people. So because I know it can come across as, girl, don't try to tell me what to do. I've been doing makeup since Jesus was a baby. I don't even want to offend you. So just don't touch me. How about that?
Right.
Yeah.
So I'll either bring my own person or do it myself. Little known fact, every episode of Scream Queens, I've done my own hair and makeup.
Really?
Did you do your makeup today?
Oh, yeah, but this was just real fast.
Yeah,
This-
but it's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. But this is not, this
yeah,
is
but you
just
know your face.
hurry up and throw something on and get out the door. But for Scream Queens, every episode you see, I did my own hair and my own makeup.
Well, how do you regulate? How do you know what it's going to look like on camera?
Yeah.
Because if it's high def, or if you don't know what the cinematographer's gig is, how it's going to. So is it just a guessing game?
Yep.
Do you ask to
just
see it
kinda
before?
do it, and then sometimes when they're playing back or doing something,
Yeah.
you just slide behind that monitor, and you like, oh, let me pick my bag up.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
need to-
Now, what foundation are you wearing right now? What do you like?
What
I'm a
brand?
creature of habit,
Okay.
and I stick with the same thing. I order the same meals at the same restaurants. I
Me too.
wear the same stuff. Like I'm pretty much the same girl. But I'm a lover of Black Opal.
I love Black Opal.
I keep it real
It's
simple.
great.
I just love Black
I
Opal.
love. They have great colors. Sam Fine formulated those colors years ago.
Oh.
He certainly did. He went and did that for Fashion Fair too. About 10 years ago, he formulated. But
No, I did know that, and there was a point in my life where, and hello, Sam Fine, you've never done my makeup, and I'm still waiting.
Oh, he would
But
turn you out.
There's a point in my life where myself, my mother, my grandmother, and one of my daughters, we were all wearing Fashion Fair because it was what I grew up on.
Yes, absolutely. That was the first makeup I ever wore. Was
Yeah,
Fashion
it was
Fair.
Fashion Fair. And
Yeah.
honey, that damn souffle was.
Oh yes.
What, honey, it would take the sun out the sky. It would cover your soul. I said, what kind of trickery is this? And so, yeah, we wore that for many years.
I loved it. I used the Tawny Glow for years. That was the first. That was the.
Oh, hello.
Are you Tawny?
I'm
Tawny too.
Ah, same color. I do want to add, though, you were talking about Sam Fine for women of color. There's amazing, amazing makeup artists that are up and coming now, too.
Yeah.
Sam Fine is legend.
He is the top of the heap.
But
for
there's one called Nikki Posley, if I've never heard of Nikki Posley. He's New York-based, but he beats the hell out of women of color. He is amazing.
And how do you spell Nikki Posley?
Nicky Posley.
Okay.
He's really, really
to follow
talented.
him.
Oh, he is so
Now, when
good.
you're wearing your black opal, are you wearing one shade or are you doing several different shades, like a highlighter under the eyes?
I use rich caramel under the eye and all around. And then I use, I used to use rich caramel on my whole face, but then, summertime happens.
Yeah.
And then you have to start using a little bit more of that nutmeg.
Yes.
But you're always going to cut that crease with that hazelnut. So, you're going to...
Caramel, nutmeg, and hazelnut.
It tastes like a wonderful winter
Latte.
drink. It's
Yeah.
delicious. Yeah, you can drink it too.
Well, the good thing about black opal is you could find it in Dwayne Reed. You could find it in
Anywhere.
any store.
They used to have it at Walmart too.
Did they?
Brilliant. It's
I don't know if they
brilliant.
still do, but it
Yeah.
was. I mean, of course, the Namies and Friends and
Sure.
that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
you could get that anywhere.
Now, what about powder? What powder do you use to set, or what do you do with powder?
I use a little bit of the banana powder.
From
knife.
For banana powder underneath, and then I use well, let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, because she got her purse.
Right. Because, when I was coming up, a lot of girls would not powder. They would just put on the foundation
Be greasy.
and not set it.
But I will say this while
Laura
she's
Mercier.
looking.
Oh, yeah, Laura
Mercier.
Mercier.
The translucent?
No, I use a colored one. I use a one that has color to it, and then
Which color is that? Do you know? Can you see it? I can't see up in
number
here.
17.
Number 17.
I use that one, and then I use another one that's I think it's called Deep or Dark in a square compact. This is circle, but I use that one if to go around and cut in. But I just like the way the girl who does my makeup does it, and I try to copy off whatever she does.
Yes.
So whatever Naima does, that's what I do. I'm like, what's that we using today?
Yes.
You know what I
love
mean?
it.
But I'm so in tune that if you pick up something that you've never used on my face,
Right.
I'm real quick to be like, hold on, Pumpkin, what is that?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see it first.
Yeah. Well, because it's, especially with brown skin, it's very easy for it to go gray. And a lot of people don't know that. When
honey.
you see people on camera, a lot of times they clearly don't know what they're like. I remember seeing some movie with Yaphet Kotto, great, fine actor who plays the villain in Live and Let Die, the James Bond film. But if you watch the film, he's very dark skinned. If you watch it, he comes off very gray at
Because a lot
times.
of makeup artists don't know how to deal with
They don't know how to do it.
dark skin.
Well, see,
Yeah.
and that's why I think being a black woman, I learned very early on, you better be able to go in this trailer and pull something together, because sometimes, especially early on, I've gone to sets and felt like a science experiment. Where it's kind of like, and you could tell that there's this, and I'm looking at your color palette. I said, ooh, third from the left, that's me. You know what I mean? You don't want to tell somebody how to do their job,
Right.
but then you take the number one, which is like alabaster, and then you go all the way to the end, which is something that's so dark, and you try to make something, and I'm like, and now I look like I've been playing in the mud. I'm like,
You're
this is
mixing
not...
Nicole Kidman and Lupita Nyong'o.
Yes.
and trying to
yes.
make me, and that's not it.
No.
And so and then I would have to go to the trailer and wash that off. And then I've been in situations where I've shown up hair and makeup ready, and the people actually take a deep breath, like, "Ooh, You know, you look great. I mean, you don't need any. Let us know if you need anything.
Sure.
I'll touch you up.
Shoo you right on out of there.
Yeah.
So, you know, I prefer my own girl because they make it so much better than I could. But I could fake it a little bit.
Well, because that is, that's, I think, a lesson for life. I think, truthfully, in this life, you really do have to look after yourself. And most times, you could have other people to help you out. Now, eyebrows, that's a whole other storyline because you do need another set of eyes to get the eyebrows on right. But most times, you really do have to look after yourself. Actually, Kevin O'Quan, we're going to take a break in a minute, but Kevin O'Quan told me a story when he did Diana Ross for the cover of Vanity Fair in, I believe it was 1989. Something like, no, it was 86 when it was A Star is Reborn or something like that, her Vanity Fair cover. He did her makeup. She said, great, excused herself to the bathroom, wiped it all off and redid it herself.
Shut up.
Certainly did. Kevin O'Quan, one of the greatest makeup artists
Ever.
of all time, she wiped that off because she was doing her makeup back then all those years in the Supremes.
Who knew? But of course, if you think about
I just went, one of my really dear friends at my matron of honor is Shirley Ralph. I just went and saw her in Wicked, and when I tell you that face was beaten down to the ground. And I said, oh, who's your makeup artist? I wanted to meet the person. She said, girl, I did this.
Yes.
I mean, years of the theater. You know how to pull that thing. I was so impressed. I was like, Diva, you did not do that makeup. She said, girl, I want you to know I did.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of her in that makeup, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, we're going to take a break. We've got Niecy Nash. We're going to be right back after this. Casper Mattresses. Why, look who's here.
Our favorite friend, Casper.
Yes, Casper is an online retailer of premium mattresses for a fraction of the price. You can get $50 toward any mattress purchase by visiting Casper.com/Ru using that offer code RU, honey. What are you waiting for? Michelle swears by this mattress.
I really do. I think I have a California king size. It's the most unbelievable thing, and this is what I love about it. So many people, you don't know whether to get the Tempur-Pedic thing or the inner coil. Like, you don't know. The good thing about Casper is it's a hybrid mattress. So it has premium latex foam with memory foam. So they're combined and they're extra comfortable. I cannot tell you how when I lay down at night, I just luxuriate in that. It is so good. And I have to tell you, I put my Boll & Branch sheets on it. It is amazing. It's the best thing ever.
You should go to Casper.com/Ru. Use that offer code and get started today.
Offer code RU, Casper.com.
We are back with Niecy Nash. We're talking about everything. The book is called You Can't Fight.
It's hard.
It's hard. I can remember it's hard.
Yes.
It's hard
to
fight
naked.
Now, when your mother read the book, was she like, oh, Niecy, you can't say this up in here?
What my mother said to me, when I did the book, my mother was well into her 60s. My mother said to me, she said, I never would have had the courage to say the things you said in that book, but I lived long enough to know that every word is true. And we left it right there. You know what I mean? I mean, because in the book, one of the things that was the most controversial that started the biggest uproar in social media was the fact that I said that a BJ a day keeps the divorce attorney away.
Well, that's true.
And you got some who would disagree and like, oh my God, that's too much work. You said women back 100 years. Why would you say that? I'm like, girl, I'm just trying to tell you how to have a happy home. And if you think I'm lying, go home and ask your man. Whoops, you probably saying that because you ain't got one. How about get one, then go ask him if I'm telling the truth or not. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's a lot of work. That's why it's called a blow job.
Yeah.
It is work. I know it's work.
Job that you don't get paid
Right,
for.
but when I call my husband's name, I go, babe. He walk in the room handing me his wallet. I'm like, no, I was just going to ask you what you want to eat. Calm down. But if you keep it tight, you keep it right.
That's it.
So yeah, my mother, she's there for it.
Yeah.
She's there for it.
And this is your second marriage.
I'm on my second marriage.
Good
And
for
I
you.
told my husband this morning, you know what, it's funny because we were talking about the fact that Zsa Zsa Gabor passed.
Yes.
And I said to him, I'm so happy for a heightened sense of discernment that allowed me to choose well the second time because I very much without it would have been a serial marrier. Like I would have married again and again and again.
Yeah.
Because I love it. I love being married.
Yeah.
So I know that without choosing well, I would have had to keep doing
Right.
it over and over.
Right. Right.
At least you're aware of that.
Yeah.
And how long have you guys been married?
This husband I've had for 5 years so
5
far.
years.
Mhm.
Right.
Married. Mhm.
Right, but you've known each other for a long time before
we
that.
met each other on September 4th of 2009. He gave me a ring on September 4th of 2010.
Aw.
And I married him in May of 2011.
Wow, that's pretty fast.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
knew
because
what you
we
wanted.
were grown.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah. If I was a guy, I would be him. So I knew that he was the guy version of me.
Yeah.
So it was
Well, that
easy.
could work or not work. But for you, it obviously
It worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, no, you talked about explaining, or not explaining, coming to terms with your mother, reading your book. How do you explain your career and what happens in show business to your husband, who's not really in the business? He's around you, but it's hard for people who are not in the thick of it to understand the choices and certain ways we behave in show business.
Well, one of the things that I try to do is to make sure I communicate fully with my husband because I know this is not his world.
Yeah.
So what I do, especially if there's a role, if there's something in it that's questionable or anything that could be taken,
like nudity. Have you done nudity?
Well, here's what okay. Full disclosure, the industry waited until I was on the south side of 40 to say, would you be naked? And I'm like, huh? Why y'all didn't ask me when they was sitting up on the glass?
Right.
Like, what is honey, you waited till they done shifted. Now what is going on? So my husband is like, what is going on? Why now?
Yeah.
And I've looked at, he's looked at my past work and everything. He's like, you haven't had to do this before. Like, what is going on? I said, I don't even know.
Yeah.
But like I have a new project coming out. And the last two things that I've done, I had a sex scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I just did one on Masters of Sex, which, my husband watched out the corner of his eye.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a very long discussion about it. And the guy they ended up booking for me to be in the scene with was a friend of ours. So it was
more awkward.
It was,
Yeah.
But he was like, I'm coming up there. Please don't come up there when we film the scene. Like, let's not do that.
Yeah.
But this last one I just did was for my new show on TNT called Claws.
Oh, I want to ask you about that. Yes.
'cause it's about the nail salon.
Yeah.
My new show, I had one and there was a little screening and I said, I really need for my husband to see this privately before he watches it with the public. This is me. We have a conversation on the front side about it.
Right.
You understand what the scene is. I talked to you before it. I talked to him after the scene. And then I just wanted him to have a moment. So after he watched the entire pilot, I go, well, tell me what you think based on the shows we love. You can tell me the truth. And he said, I have to watch it again in order to do that because this time I only watched it as your husband, not as a viewer. And I was like, well, ask my husband, what did you think? And, he was like, you did a really good job.
Aw.
I mean, so it's and even when I played Cedric's wife, and that was very PG, and I had to kiss him and, be cozy with him. My husband gave me the biggest compliment. He said, you guys look like you are a couple for real.
Yeah.
Like that connection. And I was like, oh, thanks, baby. And he said, on TV. Like, don't get it twisted.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't slide into real life now.
Yeah, because you were Cedric the Entertainer's wife on Soul Man.
Yeah.
Who was the friend of yours they booked on Masters of Sex?
And I referred him. His name is Corey Reynolds. He was from The Closer, but we knew each other with Kira Sedgwick. Kira Sedgwick.
Yeah.
But we knew each other from Selma. We did the movie Selma together.
Yeah.
And then we just became friends with him. And when they said, I needed a husband for this role on Masters, I referred a couple people. Some I knew, some I was just a fan of.
Yeah.
And they chose him.
Right.
So we had our scene and I told them, listen, when that woman first came to me, I said to my manager, I said, hey, I'm on Masters of Sex now. I said, you think I should get a boob job? Everybody on there is naked. He goes, no, I think you're fine. I was like, you sure? He's like, you're fine. Wasn't on that show 10 minutes and the people said, hey, Niecy, we wanted to talk to you.
Wait a minute.
There's a scene we want to write where there's intimacy with the husband. And, we would, now, not that we're forcing you to, but if you would be willing to be naked, we'd love it.
Naked.
And I said to her, ma'am, let me be honest with you. I understand that this is, showtime. But these boobs is showtime after dark. You don't. When I unleash this Kraken, baby, when they come out, you hear bound chicka wow wow. Like, it's that. And I don't want your viewers. This is like homemade porno boobs. Like, please don't come over here.
I love it.
And she just looked at me and said, "Thank you for your honesty." I was like, "You're welcome."
Oh my God.
Did you end up doing it?
We had to make an adjustment because I'm an honest person. You know what I mean? I was like, "Ma'am, come on. We talking 90% areola. Fall back.
God,
you don't want a minute of what all this is giving."
Yes.
So we made an adjustment, you know what I mean? And I had on a nightgown, for the era, like 68, 69. And, short and you know what I mean? So you saw enough to know what was happening.
Right.
But the whole bear thing, I said, these boobs are polite. They're perky. The areolas are polite. I just don't think this is what you want.
Right. Because a lot of people thought that the body you had on Reno 911 was your real body.
Okay, now that's a yes and a no. Yes, in that they made a mold of my real body. I'm standing in a warehouse in downtown LA with all these big guys with all these monster heads that they've created. And I'm just standing there, damn near naked while they put plaster all over me. And I just, old fashioned leaning tool where you just lean up against it because you have to stand there all day and let the thing on your lower regions dry.
Yeah, right.
Right. So they put a cast from the top of my stomach all the way down to my ankles. Then once they broke it off, they took pictures of my body and they painted the rubber or however they made it to exact my color, little stretch marks, little divots, little everything, put it all in there and created this booty. So when I was doing the series, I just put padding underneath. But once I did the Reno feature, I had a swimming suit on.
I remember.
So you got to see the booty, and it was one of the most expensive things to have made in the whole movie. I mean, we blew up a whale, and they were like, "Don't get whale guts on the booty."
Where is the booty now?
It's in a temperature-controlled locker.
Do they own it, though? Do you own it?
The guys who did the show, Tom Lennon and Ben Garant and Carrie Kenny, I believe they have it. In a temperature-controlled locker.
And Carrie Kenny's the woman on the show, isn't it? She created the show too.
Her with Ben and Tom.
Wow. So you did the sex,
but people did think to answer your question, they thought that was my real booty,
right?
And I got a lot of mail from prison, and I got a lot of guys who would come up to me and look down first, and then get kind of disappointed if I didn't have the booty on. Like, wait, what is it? Where did it go?
But you still got them titties.
Well, that was true. But I'm like, I was backing it up as Raynisha before Kim K. Just want to put that out there.
True.
Huh?
True.
Come on, Raynisha.
Yeah, I love Raynisha. And how long did that series run?
6 seasons and a movie.
Wow, it feels like it went longer.
6 seasons
It
and a
made
feature.
such an impact.
So good.
And it was so funny. Every
now and then we talk about trying to bring it back for a second.
Yeah, it just
somewhere.
I think people would get it even more now.
Well, I think it's still in people's consciousness. That's the thing about it.
But after that came all the other ones.
Right.
So I feel like bringing it back now would be even bigger than it was then.
Right.
Very nostalgic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I just want to go back for a minute about your husband not having been in the business and then being, put into the center of it with your career. How do you negotiate that with someone who isn't a part of all of that? You know what I'm saying?
Well, you have to be willing to lean in. You have to. You have to understand that this was my world before you got here, and that I've given you enough time to see it up close to see if you can walk it out.
Yeah.
So it's not like you just showed up, got married, and was like, "Oh wait, this is what you do." Like, no, I was doing Dancing with the Stars when we were dating, and people was jumping out behind trash cans taking our picture because Dancing with the Stars is his own thing. You know what I mean? Normally, being a person of color or being a black woman in this industry, we're fine. We don't have paparazzi and stalkerazzi. We could go take the trash out in our underwear. Nobody cares.
Mhm.
But the minute you get on Dancing with the Stars, I feel like it changes. They
Yeah.
want to make sure somebody is following you at all times.
Mm.
So that was extreme. And if he weathered that, he was like, okay, if this is the worst of it, I got you. But decisions about how your wife or your loved one will be seen, if you're not in the business, that's another reason why I think actors just stay with actors, because you get it.
Yes.
You understand that it's not real. You understand it's make me up. Everybody has on a sock or a modesty garment when
Sure.
they're rolling around in the bed. It's 45 people in the room telling you put your head to the left, to the right. So it's not as romantic. You get it.
Mhm.
But the lay person doesn't get
They
it.
don't.
And they think you really are doing it. They think that something is really going
Sure.
down. So I am very protective of my husband and what decisions I make. We discuss everything. And I just want to make sure he gets it, that he's okay, that he, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Have you ever considered adding his name to your name?
first of all, let me just say that I love it when someone calls me Mrs. Tucker.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
I light up like a Christmas tree. I worked so much under Niecy Nash. He was neither here nor there. We had a conversation with some friends before we got married. Are you going to make her take your last name? He was like, I don't have to make her do nothing. He was like, I don't care what she call herself as long as she come home at night.
Mhm, mhm.
So and when we walk into a room, I go, I'm Niecy Nash and this is my husband, Jay Tucker. And people just go, oh, okay. And on the rare occasion, and I remember the first time it happened, we were leaving the Mondrian, Oriental, what is it?
Mandarin
Mandarin,
Oriental.
yeah.
In Miami, and we were walking out, and the man said, good morning. And I said, good morning. And then he looked behind me and said, oh, good morning, Mr. Nash.
Oh.
And I went, and I just froze,
Mhm.
deer in the headlights. Oh, my God, this is finna be all bad.
Mhm.
That man turned around and said, good morning.
Uh-huh.
I said, yes, husband.
Yeah. Yes.
He's neither here nor there. He's
Yeah.
unbothered by all of
I
it.
love that.
He's
I love
all about
that.
the inner workings of what we're doing.
Good.
Fantastic.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, before we go to break, I want to ask you about your style sense because, I don't know if people see you as a character, but I see you out as yourself and you know how to dress. You know how to put yourself together. Where did that come from? Is that from your mother?
You know what? I don't think so. And I think it's evolved over the years. But the one thing I will say about myself is that it's easier for me to fully create the look I'm going for in a dress because it's a whole outfit.
Mm-hmm.
I do a little stutter step. If it's a pant and a shirt or a
Separates.
jacket, I don't do well with separates.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Not firsthand. I have to be like, oh, wait a minute. But if I know I see a beautiful dress, I'm like, it's one outfit. Now all I got to do
Right.
is go put on a shoe. Let's go.
Mhm.
Well, I've seen you in separates. You know what you wore on Drag Race when you judged. You had these, I think they were these gorgeous high-waisted black pants that they may have been
Sequin.
Yeah, with a white blouse that
Uh-huh.
was so smart and classic. I thought, wow, she's got a really good dress sense. How much of that comes from, I keep bringing up your mother because your mother she's a doll. Your mother is a doll. She's dolled up. Where do you think she got that from?
All the women in my family, from my great grandmother, who I had the pleasure to know, and my grandmother, who's still with us, they just had their own sense of style.
Mm-hmm.
Like my grandmother would wear the long maxi skirts
Mm-hmm.
with a fitted black with long, pretty chains, and she was just a lady.
Uh-huh. Do your kids have that sense of style?
I feel like my younger daughter has her own thing. Like she's off on a beaten path.
Right.
My middle girl plays it a little on the safer side, but that face, she can beat that mug underneath the table.
Mm.
Oh, she wears
But
makeup?
honey, does
Uh-huh,
she?
uh-huh.
She got a whole kit and caboodle for Christmas last year. The
You
chair,
are her mama, honey.
Uh,
the
Uh-huh.
lighted mirror. She
Oh,
had
wow.
everything. But so she's a little makeup maven, but she dresses a little more safe. But the baby is off on her own
Uh-huh.
thing.
You
know.
have 3 girls?
I have a boy and 2 girls that I came into my marriage with.
Uh-huh.
And then I have a bonus son that's the same age as my son
Uh-huh.
that my husband came with. So we got 2 boys and 2 girls.
Yeah. And the girl who is the makeup maven, does she wear lashes?
Of course.
And how does she, I always tell people to cut a strip of lashes into 3 pieces and place them on a mascara
That's too much
curled lash. Because, doing a whole strip is not easy for
It's not easy, but
people.
I use craft tweezers, the really long ones, not
Yeah.
the short little ones because my nails are too long.
Yeah.
So you use the long craft tweezers and you put them on that way.
What's
It's
a craft tweezer?
So they're like this long.
Uh-huh.
So they're tweezers that are just long you use for stoning stuff,
Yeah.
picking stuff up. But they're a lot easier to put on that way. That 3-bit thing that could go all wrong because one could go.
I told my girls when they first started getting into the lash game, when you first are trying to do it, what messes you up is if you try to look directly into the mirror and do it because you keep taking your eye up.
Uh-huh.
But if you put a mirror
look
down
down.
on the counter
Mhm.
and you go down, that eye is coming down and you can kind of see what you're doing.
Yep.
So, know, and with anything, it's trial and error.
That's it.
Yeah.
You got to figure it out until you figure it out.
Practice,
I
practice.
saw my
practice.
baby the other day, came in there with some eyeshadow on, and wait a minute, I was coveting it. I was like, wait, what is that?
How old is she?
Is that Urban Decay? Wait, what is that? Oh, no, you mixed that? Wait, what and what? No, is that a glitter or is that in a pot? Is it a paint? Like, wait,
Wow.
no. And I mean, I was on it like, well, can I borrow that? I
Yeah.
mean,
What did she say it was?
I can't even remember. It was whatever she was telling me. I was like, what?
Yeah.
How old
It
is
was
she?
21.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
so she's got her game on point.
What?
Yeah.
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 All the
Done.
way.
Uh-huh.
Are you kidding me?
Done.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very much that. Very much that. And
I
we
love
all wear makeup. We all wear hair.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. And I remember when that little baby wanted to get in the hair game with us. And she was like, please, can I have something?
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And so when she finally got to join the crew, you couldn't tell her nothing. Now she just listen. She in there with us now.
Yeah, because people always ask me how many wigs I have, and I don't have as many as people think. I actually, a lot of them are recycled, redone.
Yeah.
They're washed and then restyled. I probably have 100. You
Okay.
know,
I love the
100.
way you
It's a
said that,
lot.
like very
Like it's
casually.
no,
but
it's
I'm
fine.
right there with you.
Yeah,
and I still feel like I don't have enough.
Yeah, I don't think I have that
Well,
many.
can anyone ever have enough? There's so many different styles, so many different colors, so many different lengths.
Yeah.
You can never have enough.
And the technology has gotten so great
Yes.
over the years that with the caps that the hair is sewn to, that they're lighter
and more affordable too.
and more affordable too, with lace fronts and everything. What is your wig philosophy? Now we're going to take a break.
I
want to
talk about claws too.
Yeah, I want to talk about Claws,
Yes.
which is the new series produced by Rashida
Yeah.
Jones and starring Niecy Nash. But real quick, let's talk about wigs for a minute. Where do you get wigs? Do you order them online? What do you do with them?
Yes, and yes.
How
Yes,
do you-
and everything.
Do you have a favorite brand?
You know what? I order from everywhere. I have some people who I know that are wig makers,
Mhm.
and I may have them make me something. I have some people who I love Instagram because I can find people, making wigs and doing beautiful things and order their product
Mhm.
and just try it out and see how I like it.
Mhm.
So I get hair from everywhere. And what do I do with it? I wear it.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
You know what I
girl.
mean? Because
Yeah.
some of my hair is, daytime hair. Then I got hair that's sleep hair.
Sure.
I got vacation hair.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? I got it for all occasions.
How do you travel with it? I mean, are they
Oh,
all
on the
shake
plane.
and go?
On
Look
the
at-
plane.
on the plane.
On the
Uh-huh.
plane. I
Yeah.
never check a bag that has my hair in it.
Do you name them?
We don't do that on occasion.
You know, Schitt's Creek, that show.
Uh-huh.
It's so fucking amazing.
Yeah.
She
Catherine O'Hara?
names her wigs in the show. She's
Uh-huh.
like, please don't take Sarah away from me. Like they all have names. It's
Yeah,
brilliant.
on occasion. But for the most part, and I wear them, and if I enjoy them, I wear them again.
Yeah.
Do you do lace fronts?
I do everything.
You do.
Mhm.
I do a little bit of. I like it all.
So you like
Yeah.
synthetic, you like human, you like everything, whatever
I
looks
don't
good.
have any synthetic wigs though.
So you only do
All of
human.
my wigs are human, and up until this point, but
Right.
I never say never. I mean, you never know. You might run across something. And
I
are
like synthetic.
I only wear synthetic,
Yeah.
but what about hair care? How do you take care of it? I send them off to have them refurbished and cleaned and stuff. How do you do it? What do you do with
Both.
them?
Sometimes I just send them somewhere and, send them to a stylist. Or if I'm going to do an event and I know I want to wear that hair, if I see you before the event, I'm like, just bring it ready.
Right.
If I don't, you can curl it on the day. Or sometimes I just wash at home and they're all just lined up outside.
Wash with what? Do you use Murphy's oil soap. That's what I
That's
used
for
to
synthetic,
use. That's
though.
for synthetic,
Yeah.
right?
No,
right.
I use
Human hair, you got to use
just,
product.
regular shampoo.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I wash at home, and then I set them all out on my deck.
You got your heads.
Yeah, on my heads.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then I had my organizer when I did my home makeover show, Linda Coopersmith, who is freaking amazing. She built an area in my room where they all go.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
but it's overflowing. So Linda, I need more
Yeah.
we need
space.
an
Yeah,
addition.
yeah.
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 So I dry them outside on the deck. And then I bring them in, and then I may flat iron them or curl them or drop them off to have somebody else style it. It just depends.
Yeah, because finding people who know how to really style wigs, that's
Ain't easy.
Not
No.
easy.
Mm-mm.
Not especially when it comes to synthetic hair. But I only wear synthetic hair because it holds the curl and the style much longer. And a lot of times, when I'm sweating and doing all this stuff, I really need something that's durable.
Yeah.
Are there styles that you cannot wear? Like I cannot do a bang. My face cannot do a bang.
I've done it all.
You can do it all.
And I love what I thought I never would love, because as a little girl, all I ever wanted to do was have that glamorous, long, flowy hair.
Mhm.
But I just started wearing like almost a bald head, cut down to nothing. And I get more compliments when I wear my, even my husband.
Like a little pixie thing?
Yeah, because I ask him sometime, like, who you want to sleep with tonight? Who you want to go to dinner with tonight? And he was like, I guess get some short hair. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And it's something about that man love to see the back of my neck. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
okay.
Uh-huh.
So I have everything. Bobs, long,
Right,
short.
'cause,
That's the joy of wigs, though.
That is a joy, because Lola Flynn, I have all of her TV specials.
She did
this
short hair a lot.
She has this gorgeous little Beethoven that's a short little wig,
Yeah.
and it's just the cutest thing. In my day, they called it a Beethoven. And this is like 76, where they were doing, it was a short little wig, and it would just come up and back like that. Do you remember that hair on Lola Falana?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, gorgeous wig. I could talk wigs all day. I love them so much.
Yeah.
And the ability to change yourself like that. That's what life's all about.
Yeah.
We're all shape-shifting. We got Niecy Nash. We're going to be right back after this little break. Michelle, when I was a kid, I used to go up to the drugstore and read all the magazines of fashion, of pop culture, you name it. That's where I learned everything I know.
I think I learned my life off of those magazines. My grandmother used to send me pages from like the Inquirer. I'm not kidding. She
kidding.
would rip out pages with articles that she wanted me to have and send them to me in the mail. But now with Texture, you don't got to rip out pages and send them in the mail anymore.
That's right. All the world's best magazines. We're talking Architectural Digest.
Wow.
We're talking Billboard magazine, Bon Appetit, you name it. Fashion, Vogue, Bazaar, Allure magazine.
Fashion.
The Fashion, darling. Everything is here on your Texture app.
Yeah, it's an app. Just download it for free. And the cool thing is, not only do you get insider access to all the content from the world's best publications, but there's also bonus stuff. You can get back issues. There's bonus videos. It's
Yes.
really, really cool.
It's really great. And you can get a free trial right now when you go to texture.com/Rue. That's right. You gain immediate entry to all the world's top magazines, including back issues. It's brilliant. Go to texture.com right now /Rue and get a free trial.
Yeah, I love it. Texture.com/RU.
You got Niecy Nash. You're going to show me pictures of your children's.
I mean, not because I keep them in my phone, but just because I follow them on Instagram.
Because that's what a mother needs to
Well,
do.
because the ages you
to.
mentioned one was 21.
What's the youngest?
17.
17.
You know I be on that page. Like, what you doing?
But so mine are 14 and 16. You know that they have anonymous other pages.
Really?
Yeah, so I didn't know this until Mom, I have a private page. Can I follow it? No. What you mean? What?
Mm-mm.
No. Then you're
Yeah.
not going to have it.
Yeah.
We're going to close that down. You're telling me I can't. Well, what's the point of a private page if you're following me? I'll tell you what the point is. You
That's
live in
the
my
one that's
house. That's the
17.
point.
Oh my God! How gorgeous! She is absolutely gorgeous.
That's
She's
the one.
17.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And she looks like you.
Do they have a good
Thank
relationship
you.
with their father?
They do. They
Yeah.
do have a good. That's the one that This is the baby that I
God, she's
call-
gorgeous.
She actually booked a job with me here.
Oh wow! She's an actress.
She's an actress. She's a singer.
Oh,
She's a dancer.
You're both stunning.
And
and that's where you have the baby hair there. I wanted to ask you about the Reno 911
Oh, my
baby
baby
hair.
Curls.
You know what? It was a character choice. I created the character. They said, "What kind of cop do you want to be?" And I said, "One with baby hair and a big booty." I don't know why I said that, but it just came out, and they were like, "Done." And I'm like,
I
"Okay."
love it.
And that's
Did
how
you guys
we-
film that in Reno?
We didn't. We filmed it here, and that's my middle one. That's the one who does the makeup.
Ooh, oh, she's beautiful.
Thank
Such
you.
gorgeous, gorgeous skin. Now, what
Oh my God.
foundation
She's got
do
an
they
angel
use? Do they
face.
switch it up?
No, they do what mommy does.
They do the. Now,
Black opal.
I use the full coverage in the stick. Black
yeah, that's
opal.
what I use,
You use
too.
that too.
Yes. Now you know we got to keep it.
Because that's a serious commitment to makeup. Look at those lips. My God, gorgeous. That looks like Ruby Woo that she's wearing.
Of course.
Is it Ruby Woo?
Yeah.
Oh my God, of course.
Look how beautiful. And the braids, the way she has it, so beautiful.
Beautiful.
You
my
could tell she got
babies.
style in her pinky. You know what I
You
mean?
know, but
She's like,
women have an interesting relationship with their mother. I know you're very close to your mother. You did a
Yeah.
show with her.
Yes.
How did you avoid getting stuck in that thing that girls have with their mother? You know the thing I'm talking about? A lot of times there's a competitive thing. A lot of times women now you guys don't look at me like deer caught in
No,
the
no,
headlights.
no.
You know
I'm
what I'm
saying-
talking
I
about.
never
know.
competed with my mama.
But I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, I know some girls who have had fist fights, literally, with their mothers. I mean,
Okay.
craziness. And don't get along, and, it's rough during the holidays and all that craziness. But, I was always a fan of my mother. And many, many years ago, in 1985, my mother was a victim of domestic violence, and I saw her get shot in front of me
Oh my God.
Wait, shot with a
What?
gun?
with a sawed-off double-barrel
Oh,
shotgun.
My
And
goodness.
after that,
And she survived.
yes, I was such a like, I
Oh my
got
God.
accepted to NYU and didn't go because my mother wouldn't come. Like, I became that kid. Like, I
You
have
were
to
scared,
be where
too.
you are.
Yeah.
Wherever you're going to be, that's where I'm going to be. Oh, I got accepted to school. I told her we got in. She was like, I don't know who we is, baby, but I'm not going to New York. And I was like, oh, well, then let me sit down because I'm not going either. You know what I mean? So I made decisions, life decisions, just based on the fact of wanting to be so close to her after that. So, and then in 93, it was only myself and my brother. My brother was murdered. And
Oh my
after
God.
that happened, somebody brought a gun to school. And my mother did a lot of campaigning for violence in schools. And
She started Mavis, right?
she started Mavis, Mothers Against Violence in Schools.
And where did you grow up?
Los Angeles.
Mhm.
And so because we have had so many tragedies in our family, and we were such a small family, I just didn't, we didn't even have room for competitiveness, or we don't get along, or we just didn't even we couldn't even figure whatever that is out. You know what I mean? We just are such champions of each other.
That's beautiful.
And my kids are not competitive with each other. I date my children, so they all have their own individual time with me. And then I have time with them all together. But we just, because our family is so small, we don't have that particular issue.
So
Now,
because-
everybody got something.
Yes.
Yeah,
but
sure.
You were raised right and you're raising your kids right. Sometimes you can't avoid when that mother-daughter or mother-child
Personality
conflict
conflicts,
happens.
you
Yes.
know.
But there's always ways around it when you love and care.
Yeah.
You know
and
what I
see,
mean?
another thing about it too is that a lot of people believe, when I meet a lot of my fans, for some reason, it seems like corporately they believe that when you're a celebrity, you live a charmed life, because all they ever see is you on makeup in a good wig and a great lash.
Yeah.
And they think like, oh my God, you must have the best life in the world. It's like, oh, what? You know what I mean? And reality TV has turned the lens on a little bit of it to kind of let you see behind the veil, but so much of it is so made up.
It's not
But the
real.
truth of the matter is that struggle is the exact same.
Yeah.
But you just probably do it from a different area code.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Different zip code.
Yeah.
But what you're going through behind that closed door, nobody has a right or a patent on suffering.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I mean? So you go through what you go through, and if you lucky, you grow through it, and you keep it pushing.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But it's not as charming as people on the outside
No, it's a fantasy.
think
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Now, I do want to talk about your show Claws,
We keep-
which we're going to talk about that. But we have another segment after this, producer. Yeah, okay. Because first of all, I just want to touch on what happened with your brother. When did that happen? It was
93.
93, and he was just a bystander.
No, his situation was a little more intended. I mean, there was it sounds crazy to say, but he was caught in a love triangle at 17.
Oh, my goodness. 17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, my
so now, and
goodness.
this is before, a lot of what this resurgence that's happened in the past few years with Black Lives Matter and everything. I think Chris Rock said it. It's that the issue of gun violence has always been there. It's just now we have cell phones and people.
You're right. Now
are
it's it's calling
documenting
more
it.
attention to it.
But
yeah.
it's always been there. And you lived in Compton at the time.
I lived in Compton, and then we moved from Compton to South Central.
Mm.
And then my mother said, I don't want you to go to school around like a lot of gangs and a lot of bad kids. So I think it'd be better if you get bused to the valley.
Mm-hmm.
So she sent him somewhere where she thought was going to be safe.
Your brother.
Right.
And this happened in
In
the
the valley.
valley.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
At school.
Yep.
And in all these years, it's been over 20 years since that happened. Looking back, what do you think? What was the bigger lesson there? What's your takeaway from it now? Looking at it from this perspective, what do you think that was all about? What was it on a metaphysical level, on a physical level? All of that. What has, in hindsight, what do you think that was?
I think that sometimes there is a purpose in your pain. And I think that for my mother to be the face and the advocate for safety at that time, she did a lot of talk shows, a lot of speaking, a lot of going to schools and gifting them with metal detectors and trying to talk to kids about conflict resolution and she also went to the California Youth Authority to speak to them after they were already on the other side. Like, somebody has to be that person.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times without a firsthand experience, you just say, oh, that's too bad.
Right.
And you keep it moving when it's not you.
You don't have the passion
But
for it.
now when you are in it and you are the one suffering, it becomes a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
On one level, I think that. I also remember when my mother, when my brother was killed, my mother said, I'm getting in the bed and I'm never getting back out. So mind you, she had been shot. She had had a horrible divorce from my father, been shot by the next man she dated. Now her only son is murdered. And so she says, I'm getting in the bed and I'm not getting out. And I'm like, okay, well, and my brother was killed the day before my 23rd birthday.
Oh.
And I said, the only thing that I know for sure, I don't know what to do, but I know I can make my mama laugh.
Mm-hmm.
So I would come and sit at the foot of her bed every day and perform.
Mm-hmm.
And I would, do my bit
Mm-hmm.
and skits and acts and all kind of little, shows I would do every day. She went from laying down in the bed to sitting up in my bed,
Mm-hmm.
in her bed. She said, I got my peanuts and my water. Go on and do your rendition of things. And so I would do my bit. And then one day I hit that corner and she's not in the bed. I'm like, where's my mama? And I hear her say, we're in here. I'm like, who is we?
Mm-hmm.
I went across the street and got the neighbors. I told them you was funny. Get that karaoke microphone and tell these people some jokes. Y'all gonna love this.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, what? And I was standing on top of the fireplace with this old karaoke mic. Is this thing on? How's everybody doing in the living room? And it was in that moment where I heard a voice as audible as my own that said, Niecy, don't be a selfish heifer. It's other people in this world suffering. Go outside and spread this around. Not that comedy saved my mother, but it served as a spackle
Mm-hmm.
or a salve in piecemealing her back together.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't book a job because in my mind, I was, Cicely Tyson reborn as Miss Jane Pittman, reborn as the lead slave in Roots Part 6. I was that. I was this furlong. And every time I would go in and people would say you're funny, I would get so offended because I never got rewarded for being funny. I got pinched in church. I got on punishment because my report card said talks too much. What was you talking about? I was telling jokes. Go get the belt. I'm going to show you what's funny. You about to get it. So it wasn't a thing. And when people would say I was funny, I would get offended. So now I'm standing on this fireplace telling my mama these jokes, hearing this voice that says, go outside and do that. And I went outside and I said, hello, guys, I'm Niecy Nash and I'm funny. And I started working just like that.
That is an amazing story. And that is the great takeaway for everybody. Everybody has tragedy in their lives. But when the universe is speaking to you, giving you stage direction, you got to listen to it.
Yep.
But you got to be open enough to hear it.
Yep.
A lot of people get the message, but they block the blessing. And that's the key to navigating this life. You know, when we do this show, we're always looking for navigation tools, GPS systems for people to take away and learn how to navigate their. And I love that. Turning something that is really tragic and some of the darker sides of this existence on this planet and turning it into something that you can actually work with.
Because out of the ashes rises the phoenix.
Absolutely.
You know?
We got Niecy Nash. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Listen, I just got to tell you, these Casper mattresses are just fantastic. Now, you guys all know that they're an amazing online retailer of premium mattresses for a fraction of the price, and they're fabulous.
So they show up at your house in a box. You come home and you're right there. You're like, oh, it's giant. I have a California king or a king, something huge. But they fit it into a box. You don't need 4 men to lift it upstairs or wherever it's got to go. It's super easy. You open the box and boop, it boinks right out on the bed.
Wow, I like the sound of that.
I bet you do.
And especially since, you know, the mattress industry has forced consumers into paying notoriously high markups. Casper is not a fan of that business model, and neither am I. Casper is revolutionizing the mattress industry by cutting the cost of dealing with resellers and showrooms and passing those savings on to who?
Ew.
That's right. That's what they do. That's how they work this.
It's how they roll because it's the most awful experience if you've ever gone to a store to shop for a new mattress.
It is.
The pressure is like buying a car.
Yeah.
It's really ridiculous, and you don't have to worry about any of that with Casper. And their mattresses, by the way, are also great. They're that hybrid of a latex foam and memory foam, super extra comfortable, and they're so confident in the quality of their mattresses. Guys, you hear me talking, it's the honest to God truth. They have a risk-free trial. Their return policy is ACE. You could try sleeping on it for 100 days, free delivery, painless returns, 100% risk-free. What are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for? Now, just go and get that $50 toward any mattress purchase right now by visiting Casper.com/Rue. Use that offer code RU and get that great deal. Now, of course, terms and conditions may apply. That's Casper.com/RU. Get started today. Now, we got Niecy Nash. Michelle, I just read about this show, Claws.
Yes.
And I know Claws is something very close to your heart.
Not in Santa or Mrs.
Yeah.
But Claws with a W. And the funny thing is, we're sitting here with Niecy Nash, and the first time I actually got to meet her, like talk to her, we were at a nail salon sitting next to each other. She was minding her business, but I said, listen, I love you. This is who I am. This is what I do. And she was like, oh. And I was talking to you about your nails, and I was like, you're able to get them done crazy. And I think you must have been on hiatus because you were like, yeah, no.
How many years ago was this?
Well, it was probably maybe at the most 2.
Yeah, I was about to say 2.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And we went to the same nail girl at the time, and we were just getting to talking. And because it's hard to work with claws like we have.
How long have you worn acrylics?
Since I was 17, 16.
Really?
And I was 19. Yep.
19 years old. That is a commitment. Have you ever taken them off?
Yeah, well, because for Getting On,
right.
First, we had to find a happy medium because when I took them off for the show, I'm so used to having them, I couldn't do anything. I'm like, I don't even know how to move my hands right. Like, I felt horrible. Like,
true.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I tried to get them super, super short.
Yeah.
But I've always had them in some form or another.
What about the credit cards? When I wore acrylics, the credit card for the meter, the parking meter.
Can't do it.
I had to have somebody come out and pull it out. Like a girl was walking by and I was like, excuse me, don't steal my credit card, but could you pull this out of here for me?
Yeah. What are some of the other things?
Gas station credit card thing you can't do. If a credit card is given to you on a table that doesn't have a lip or an edge, you can't get it up. And if a coin falls on the flat ground, leave it.
Forget it.
Leave it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Walk away.
You're right.
That's
You're
it.
right.
And fitted sheets.
Well, but I will tell you that doing this series, all of the girls who are cast in it, we all have a different story on our nails.
Uh-huh.
We don't all have the same nails and claws.
Right.
You know, everybody has a nail that suits their character.
Oh, I see.
Because Carrie Preston's in it from True
yeah,
Blood.
I love Carrie Preston.
As do I.
Uh-huh.
It's produced by Rashida, right? Did she
Rashida
write
Jones,
it?
Quincy Jones' daughter.
Judy Reyes is in it.
I
Reyes.
love her.
Karush Tran.
Karuchi, yeah.
How do you say it?
Karuchi.
Karuchi. I can't say her name.
Well, now we know.
We call her
Karuchi.
K-pop.
There you go.
K-pop. Okay, so
I didn't even know
Carrie
she was an
Preston-
actor.
Yeah, I knew she was an actor. I knew she was an
I
actor.
knew she was beautiful.
Yeah. And some other people are in it. There's a man in it who I love.
Harold.
Harold. I can't say his
Harold
name.
Pernue.
Pernue. Yeah, he's brilliant. He's from.
We will jack
is.
names up.
Oh, he is amazing. He's from the
Oz.
He's from Oz. He was the guy in the wheelchair in Oz, and he was in
The Best Man.
he's been working forever. Probably
Lost.
30 years. Lost, and he's the
Look, Niecy's like, I got his resume right here.
he's in the Matrix movie. He's in the second and third Matrix, maybe something like that. Anyway, you guys know who he is.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And now he plays my brother,
Oh, really?
and who has special needs but undiagnosed as to exactly what it is.
Mhm.
The homework and the research that man did.
Mm.
And when I first saw him on set the first time,
Mhm.
I walked up to him and I'm like, oh my God, like it was going to be a love fest. Like, hey, how you doing?
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, I love you. He said hello to me. And I turned around and I looked at the girl behind me. I said, is he okay? I didn't know, honey. He was already in character.
Ah.
He already was committed and
Uh-huh.
in. And I was like, oh, I don't want to snatch
yeah,
you
yeah,
out.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Because it
You know
takes
what I
place
mean?
in a nail salon, correct?
Well, I play a woman named Desna. I have a nail salon, and right now there are some, the Dixie Mafia is using it as a cover for drug money.
It's a
Uh-huh.
drama.
Because the nail business is a cash business.
Yes.
Right.
So they're laundering
Uh-huh.
money through my salon.
Sure.
And I'm supposed to, you find me, I enter the story at this is my last couple days. I'm supposed to be off the ride, and I should get enough money to go open my own at a better location, a new
Mhm.
salon. And it does not exactly go that way.
Because this takes place in Florida?
Yes,
Yeah.
Southern Florida.
Oh, they got their claws in you.
And baby, and I let them have it. And it's all about how I just go through this emotional uprising, which turns into a physical uprising. And I say, I'm doing all the work and everybody else is getting paid.
Mhm.
So it's about her decision to reclaim what's hers and the journey to her becoming this queen pin.
Mhm.
It's I took my 21-year-old with me to see the screening. And as soon as it was over, she turned around and said, well, I guess I just need to call you Walter White.
Shut up. Oh my
Because
God.
it kind of reminds you of Breaking Bad meets Orange is the New Black,
Yeah.
who had an affair with the Sopranos. You know what
Okay.
I mean?
So it's a dark.
but with girls.
It's a
like a
dark
drama.
comedy.
Yes.
And where will this be seen?
TNT.
It's on TNT.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like with Animal Kingdom and all those
Yes.
dark shows. What's that
Good
other?
behavior.
Yes, yes.
That is so good.
Is it?
Yeah.
So when will this premiere? Probably in February.
Well, I don't know about our premiere date. We haven't got that yet, but we did get the pickup.
Mhm.
So,
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So
are
that means
welcome.
that you shot a pilot. Have you shot any more shows?
No, we actually leave to go back to New Orleans to shoot more in February.
Because you got that Louisiana tax credit
That's
for
it.
filming.
That's
I was
it.
like, can't they give us a LA credit? Because my baby in high school, this her last year. I don't want to miss a thing.
That's
Where
it.
in Louisiana? In New Orleans, you
yeah,
said?
in New
Orleans.
Orleans.
Yeah.
In New Orleans.
And so, okay, but it's supposed to take place in Florida.
Yes.
And how many episodes have they committed to?
I think we're going to do 10 for the first season.
Wow. So, okay, so Carrie Preston, Harold
Then,
Uh-huh.
Karuchi.
and then K-pop,
Karuchi. Am I saying it right?
K-pop. Let's stick with K-pop.
Okay.
K-pop, Kachuchi.
Uh-huh.
Are you so stupid? Katucci.
Jen Lyon is another girl
Jen
that's in
Lyon,
it.
uh-huh.
And my lover in it is Jack Kessie.
Jack Kessie. I don't know him,
Yet you don't, but you will.
but I will.
Ah, I love it.
Yet you don't, but you will.
So 10 episodes. How long is that going to take? Is that like 6 weeks or is it like
I love you for that. No, we will probably be in New Orleans about 5 or 6 months.
Oh
Good
my
God.
goodness.
Because it's a 1 hour.
Yeah.
So you think that it'll probably take you anywhere from maybe 8 to 11 days
Yeah.
for
Per
each
episode?
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got to have a break in there,
Yeah.
you know.
Do you prefer doing drama over comedy?
I prefer work.
Yeah, here. Here.
Ah,
Here. Working is good.
That is right.
You know, you a girl from my own
Yes,
heart. I
baby.
rarely turn down a job.
If I'm down to one job, I feel lightweight.
Really?
I feel like, ooh, I feel unsettled.
Yeah.
Like I gotta have more.
Sure.
Like, what are we doing here,
Well,
people?
see, I like to work because if I'm not working, the voices come back.
Yeah.
The voices come back, and I good. Although, you know, I did turn down a job, and this is a controversial issue. I turned down a job last week because they wanted me to play a character who came in and helped out these white women feel good about themselves, which is perfectly fine. And we did it on Drag You, but on Drag You, it was on my own terms, right? So it was my show, and I was doing it. But a lot of times, I didn't want to perpetuate this idea that gay people or drag queens are there solely to make straight white folks feel good about themselves.
Women in particular?
In particular. Because there's I didn't want to perpetuate that. Now, on Drag You, it's different. That's our show. That's what we doing. You guys follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, there's I'll tell you what it is.
Okay.
There's this thing where gay men are looked at as almost like a handbag or
Sure,
a prop
an accessory.
to a straight woman. And I think that for the gay man, it's giving them a bad rap because they're human and
Human
they're
beings.
more than that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know it doesn't come from a bad place. It
No,
comes
of course
from
not.
a
No.
place of love.
But the
you
one
know?
thing that I will say is that I have found that the most powerful word in this industry is no.
Mhm.
And it's okay. And I love it. You know, there's sometimes like when I started off in this career, I had to say yes because
Mhm.
I couldn't afford to say no.
Mhm.
But I love when I got to the place, and thank you, Lord, for a gainfully employed black man. Because I can say no. I can say that's not for me. It doesn't resonate with what I want to do. I get it, but no.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I think it's okay because anytime you say no to somebody, you're saying yes to you.
Mhm.
And so,
Oh, I love that.
and you don't have to justify that. I don't have to explain that to you.
No.
I don't have to tell you why. So, well, what's the problem? Well, why could?
Mhm.
Because the conversation was over when I said no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if my agent or manager calls back, well, now they're saying they want to know.
No, I said no.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't question, mother.
Mhm.
I didn't want to end it. It's not a conversation.
Right.
It's an ask and an answer.
Right.
It's a decision.
You know, and so sometimes you have to stand on that and just be like, it's not for me.
Did you have a mentor in this business, or did you pattern your trajectory by someone else's career? Because, you know, when I look at Whoopi Goldberg's career, right after she won the Oscar, she took a job doing on Star Trek: The Next Generation, or something. I don't remember if that was before or after, but she had no problem taking jobs that weren't the traditional.
She did morning radio in New York on our old radio
That's right.
station.
She certainly did.
Yeah.
But, you know, I look at her and I think, well, I guess she's thinking, okay, the rules of how, you know, a white performer has to play the game are different for the rules of a brown-skinned performer. That's what this is what I'm assuming. What's your outlook on that? How do you plan what you're going to do? Is it just happenstance, or is there an outright, I need to do it like this?
I would say I have a plan, and I like to have meetings with my team to make sure we're all on the same page and we understand what that plan is, and then we go out and we work the plan. You have to in those times know what you don't want as well. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to be upset and I'm going to feel a certain kind of way if you bring me something that I've already said I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? And so I do what's interesting to me. And sometimes I earmark shows, like even my job on Masters of Sex. I had sent them a list of shows that I love and wanted to be on. And that was one that manifested based off the list. You know what I mean? So I pursue that, which what I don't just sit at home waiting on the phone to ring. I'm trying to figure out the next thing. Like the ink is barely dry on my clause contract. And I'm like, okay, well, what's next? You know what I mean? And whereas most people would be like, Oh, well, I know I got a job coming up. I could just sit in a hammock and eat a hot dog. Not me. I can't speak for what somebody else does.
I can't even get my ass in a hammock.
I'm always like, I always like to have
Rue too.
two and three on the line.
Yeah. Well, what haven't you done that you'd like to do? What are some of those
what
things?
haven't I done? I've never been in a music video.
Really?
Nope. And I just want to be in one just to say that I've done it. So Keke Palmer told me she was gonna put me in a music video. So we'll see. Hey, Keeks. What else? What haven't I done? Oh, one of the things that I'm really looking forward to doing is directing.
Wow.
Haven't done that yet.
Is there a piece of material that you'd love to direct, like that that you've been to, like a book? Like, remember those Terry McMillan books? Remember that book, Mama?
Yes.
Is there something you got your eye on?
Well, what I want to be able to do is to keep it close to home, and that first time direct something that I'm in. So that I'm so familiar with the tone of it and the texture of it and the tenor of it that I know what it is.
I think you'd be really good at it.
I would like to. Oh, and then I want to. I've never done a game show. Never hosted a game show.
Yeah.
I feel like that could be fun.
Yeah.
What sign are you?
Pisces.
So you're sensitive too. Yeah,
Now we're going to wrap it up, but I wanted to ask you this, and I'm a lot of performers listen to our podcast, and first of all, when you go out on auditions, or even early when you were starting out, who are the actresses who you'd see in the audition room or in the waiting room every single time? There's always a certain a group of girls who you would always say, who was always there when you were up for the same role?
When I was first going out, I didn't recognize anyone, and I was the most comfortable. I felt like, hey, we're all in it together. None of us know each other. And it was kind of like the same group of unknown girls. I didn't know them. They didn't know me. The first time I walked into an audition at Warner Brothers and I saw girls I recognized, it was Tisha Campbell, Tashina Arnold, Essence Atkins, and there was one other girl. I walked in, I took a look, and I turned around and I walked right back out.
You're kidding me.
Yes, I did. And I was like, oh my God, I know them.
Yeah.
And I said, wait a minute, what is going on? And I stepped outside and I prayed. And the Spirit of the Lord told me, if you believe where I'm taking you, these women are your peers. Yeah. Turn around and get back in there. And I turned around and I walked back in, and we were all auditioning for a Ryan Murphy show called Popular. And out of all those girls who all had series, I booked it. And I was like, wait a minute. I said, well, all right. And when I turned around to go back in, I said, oh, these are my peers. So I walked back in and said, hey, girls, what's going on? Oh, your shoes are cute. How y'all doing? Okay. Honey, and I always believe fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Fake it till you make it. And I just pulled up, and I was like, and we going to make it happen. So that was then. And then once I found my lane and my zhuzh, it would be Sherry Shepherd, Yvette Nicole Brown,
Kim Whitley.
Kim, yep, another good friend of mine who would, it was like the funny girls. We were like round and chubby and funny, and that was our ilk.
Yeah.
We could shake our necks real good, back then when they used to be like, could you do it a little more urban? Oh, can I? Let me reach in this grab bag and pull out this Compton on you. Y'all ain't ready for it. So we would all kind of be there in lockstep together.
Yeah.
And then by some crazy coincidence, someone called me about doing a sketch show, which turned into Reno 911. And I lied my way into that because when they said, do you do sketch? I was like, yes. Hung up the phone and called my friend Big George and said, what the hell is sketch? He was like, that's when you got to make up a character. I'm like, oh, okay, I could do that.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I got there were two girls, both of them who I now know were beasts in like the improv and sketch world, and me. And one was doing vocal warm-ups and one was stretching. And I was sitting down reading the magazine. And I was like, well, should I could do a lunge or something. I was like, eat this lunge. Eat this lunge. Honey, I lunged for my life. And then they were taking a long time, and I knocked on the door, and it was like 15 people in the room. And they were like, yes. And I said, I'm sorry. When are y'all going to get this dog and pony show started? And one of the ladies got an attitude and said, well, why? What is the problem? Are you in a hurry? I said, ma'am, yes, I am. I got to get my kids to Chuck E. Cheese by 7 o'clock. The last time I got there late, they jumped on the mouse. His head fell off. The man ran in the back, and then he didn't come back out. So, yeah, I am in a hurry. She says they let me come in and do my thing. And I don't think nothing of it. I get a call back, and I'm like, okay. Can't believe I got this call back. When I go back, I gave my kids to my mama. Okay, I'm going to go in there. I'm focused. I'm ready. Walked in the door. I said, hello, everyone. And they said to me, what happened at Chuck E. Cheese? I said, what?
I love it.
And we talked about Chuck E. Cheese.
Isn't that funny? Well, because,
go.
you know, in auditions, you never know what they're looking for. A lot of times it's a feeling, it's an essence. And, you know, you be yourself. You be yourself. And you have faith. You have faith in knowing that you are guided. And that's how it goes. Niecy Nash, you are just a international treasure. I adore you.
I adore you more.
You're so fabulous. And what a great success story, not just for people in show business, but just in terms of navigating your life with true grit and faith and understanding that you have a purpose here and never faltering from that. You know, it's brilliant.
Thank
you for
Thank
coming.
y'all for having me.
Thank you for
amazing.
talking to us.
Yeah.
It's fabulous.
Oh, I'm going to invite you to come to I'm doing a premiere party for Claus.
I love it.
And I want you to come. It's going to be at a nail salon, so you come too.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yes.
I would
Great
love it.
idea.
When I give that party, I definitely want y'all to come.
I will be there. We'll both be there. We love us some nails. I get my nails done. I don't do the acrylics anymore.
No, but I was looking at your hands when I was sitting over here. I was like, yes, nails.
She did do nails for season 8.
I did for
and
one
for
of
All
those
Stars.
seasons. I had acrylics on there.
But I like this buff, shiny situation. I like that.
You know, it's a way to pamper myself. They say, you know, when your nails are on point, your life is on point.
Yeah.
Is that what they say?
That's what they say.
Oh.
So, you know, I like to take a little time for myself to do that. But
Okay, well, there we go.
thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And continued success in everything you do. You are, you know what? Nobody got to worry about you.
She ain't ever going to stop.
No, it's done. It's a done deal. And people ought to take a cue from Miss Niecy Nash.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. And again, the book is called
Hard to Fight Naked.
She did it. She did it.
All right, Michelle, until next time,
You
my
got it,
dear.
baby.
Bye.
Can I get an amen? If you can't love yourself, how in the hell you gonna love somebody else? Can I get an amen?
And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes.
If you can't love yourself, how in the hell you gonna love somebody else? Amen.